Prototype 1 was a game I sank hours into growing up. New York City has been plunged into a nightmarish zombie epidemic. It's been occupied by a shady Black Ops military group who are losing control of the place rapidly. And you play as Alex Mercer, honestly the poster boy for mid-2000s angst.
I woke up in a morgue. Now I hunt. I kill.
Back when every protagonist had to wear a hoodie and have some bundle of trauma to get them going. You've been infected with the virus, but somehow you're different, a prototype, some sort of living weapon, and Alex is out to get revenge on whoever played shuffleboard with his DNA, fighting against what feels like the entire US military and some dwarfed offshoot of the Necromorphs. You're basically Carnage without the web swinging, with the added bonus of being able to absorb people's memories and take their shape. This game had the ultimate superhero sandbox for a while, and the level of detail it could keep on the screen for a game so old was ahead of its time. The story is not the highlight of this game, but it will be the highlight for today's video, so expect spoilers and let's go. Prototype opens up showing the ruins of New York City and that this isn't a normal virus at all. Alex gives an exceptionally edgy introduction.
I'm gonna find out who did this to me, and I'm gonna make them pay.
Someone had released the virus in Penn Station 3 weeks ago and Alex went walkies from the morgue. He gives his raison d'etre of seeking revenge. Take out a few goons and then we're thrown into an almost reverse tutorial. We have access to all of Alex's strength and powers and we're seeing Alex at the end of his story here. There will be a flashback coming soon. This is our hook, causing absolute bedlam to the point where we can't do much more damage to the city itself, exploding into a singularity of tendrils and wiping the street. Alex talks to an unknown stranger, telling us the last person responsible for this epidemic will be dying tonight. Then we cut back 18 days into the past. Alex on a morgue slate, and it turns out we're a former Blackwatch employee, the shady military group. And as they're about to slice into us, we suddenly stop being dead. But before they can turn the room into a smouldering pile of ash, Alex stumbles outside, and because the morticians didn't keep us put, we get an example of how sleazy Blackwatch are. We appear to be more resilient than a normal human, and we make a break for it. Helicopters give chase and we bolt. Alex's parkour in this game is basically automatic. Just hold down the trigger and you can run and jump automatically over any obstacle. Not only are we agile, we're strong enough to throw cars, and this same team had worked on the Hulk game. You could quite easily swap the character models and end up with a similar experience scaling wise. Alex takes out several choppers, and then having shrugged the PMCs, we realise he's missing most of his memory. Though by violently consuming one of the nearby goons, we could absorb their memories, giving Alex the address of his sister, and us the goal of finding her. Alex's sister is called Dana, and we need to get there before the military can get their hands on her, so we can discover who we are. We shapeshift into the man we just consumed, clothes and all, and use his shape to sneak into our sister's apartment.
Get off me!
Dana!
Callie marring a guy in front of her. Dana drops in another company name. Something wrong is going on at Gentek, presumably the company that made the virus. Alex was looking for info on them before he was a corpse, and up until this point, Alex's sister hadn't seen him for years. She tells us where our apartment is and that the military are likely there. Luckily, if they're searching for us, we can search for them by consuming their brains like hard-boiled eggs. We'll find out the reason and hop back on our conspiracy chase. We look at some photographs that give me mid-2000s movie vibes, where they clearly CGI'd the CGI here in the apartment. Finding it funny that no one is here to greet us until...
Target is hot. Light it up.
After watching us eat a whole tactical explosion, the man in charge goes running in a tank, as he should. Alex is an eldritch abomination. We ambush it while they're awaiting evac by disguising as one of their troops, slurping some memories, and this infection we've got makes it busted. We're not even mentally stable either. Alex notices a trend that Blackwatch security is killing off anyone related to the virus's development, and he thinks that by finding the head of Gentek before they're killed, we can get some answers. We're in a lovely race against time with the military here, and Blackwatch are especially gruntish.
When we hunt, we kill. No one is safe. Nothing is sacred. We are Blackwatch. We are the last line of defense! We will burn our own to hold the red line! It is the last line to ever hold!
Mr. CEO is harder to find than change in a sofa, and so our target shifts somewhat. While Blackwatch and their stand-in Marcus Phoenix plan on trying to contain the epidemic with ballistic means, we're introduced to this man here, leading a unit dedicated to hunting us down. And through all our searching, we're interested in a single name that keeps coming up alongside our own. One Elizabeth Green, still being held at a Gentech facility and likely showing symptoms similar to our own. Alex soon discovers that Blackwatch have sealed this building off, not just because she's a high priority asset, but because whatever was holding her didn't work, and a bunch of lab rats got slaughtered. To get in, we need to consume the facility commander and blend in. Because everyone has the memory of a goldfish, we can cause some absolute mayhem here, grabbing the guy before just turning a corner to get in, and here's some footage of that.
Here's my ticket inside.
I can't overstate how fun yet chaotic this game is. Alex enters the building and the place is absolutely consumed with biomatter. Really, this seems to be a nest for Elizabeth. I forget who she's reminding me of here, but I get mad deja vu when I see her. As almost like a grave mine for the virus, she shows us the plans for the city before making a fast exit, leaving some absolute monstrosity to deal with us. It's at this point the virus itself becomes a full faction, having motivation and some sort of greater will rather than just being an environmental hazard. These hunters, as they're called, are such a hazard, Alex doesn't back his chances keeping them contained, and so opts to herd them to a nearby military base to fight them there. At all junctures, he's concerned with keeping civilian casualties, at least by his own hands, to a minimum, even if he's fighting the force trying to keep it contained, and there's a full argument he's doing just as much damage as anyone else here. These things are such an initial threat, we actually have guards opting to not shoot at us but to shoot at the creatures. And by consuming one, we unlock special claws, adapting with their special DNA. The claws help us take them out, but by god are they a hassle, as iframes and dodges just aren't a thing yet. With Green on the run and the hunters dispatched, Alex goes back to his sister Dana to be told an ex-girlfriend of ours is somewhere in the city, one Karen Parker, who surprisingly seems happy to see us when we go find her. We grab a tank to escort her out, and Alex not knowing how to drive one, we absorb the memories of a corporal on the street. Karen seemed to work at Gentech too, and according to this guy's memories, so things get a bit messy. We're introduced to a big world event here. Across the map there are both military bases and hives, each expanding the zone of influence for either the military or the infected. By smashing hives using some of the military's toys, we can actually reduce the amount of infected in certain boroughs. You can never truly clear the map, but it's a fun little side piece if you're wanting to play the hero. Before we actually pick Karen up, we cut to day 4 with Karen in her lab. She seems to be working on some sort of cure rather than getting us closer to Green. Despite going through absolute bedlam to get her some DNA samples, nothing happens overnight in the city and Alex is pulled in multiple directions. One having to protect his sister now the military are rolling out new viral scanners. The infection gets more intense, outbreaks popping up all over, with the release of Green's hunters showing up across the city too. And by day 6 of the infection, 20% of the population is infected. Now bear in mind, even the Black Death during the Great Plague was undercounted as only taking out 15% of the population of, let's say, London. The virus is framed as one of the biggest calamities worldwide. And while we're out firefighting, Blackwatch is working on something new, a viral agent designed specifically to kill us.
Mercer, Zeus, rebuilds on a cellular level, a shapeshifter. We've used the DNA sample you recovered to synthesize a pathogen. Inside Zeus, the pathogen will generate a possible cure.
Do you understand your mission?
I'm to inject the weapon into the target, Zeus, and bring him in.
Despite having powers, this is really like trying to fight the ocean from reaching the shore. One man alone cannot stop this pandemic, at least it seems. Now we try to draw Director McMullen of Gentech in to get some answers by sabotaging a few directors to make an area seem safe enough for a landing. It leads to a big stare down where he can quite clearly tell we're in disguise. Karen sends us into a hive looking for genetic material to help build her cure, and this leads to us being mobbed by hundreds of the infected, as knockoff Marcus Phoenix Specialist Cross crashes the party, revealing that Karen had sold us out to Gentek. For a regular human, he's exceptionally sturdy and well equipped, likely modified in some way, shape or form by Gentek, and as we flip-flop between fighting waves of infected and fighting him, wearing down our endurance until, when it looks like we've got the upper hand, the both of us climb up onto the roof of the hive, we have a brain blast and he jabs us with whatever viral weapon they'd cooked up. We try to use our powers, but well...
Whatever that asshole did to me, I can't transform.
We still have the speed advantage over the military, and we could still use disguises, but our whole arsenal has just been wiped from use, and we won't be getting it back anytime soon either. Throughout all of this, we're encountering soldiers with memories about a previous secret project in a place called Hope, Idaho, an army town where something similar happened before, the only survivor of which, after the military had brought down the hammer, was Elizabeth Green. Gentek had been experimenting around with viruses for years, decades even. Worse still, whatever we've been jabbed with has now formed some sort of massive tumour on our back, feeding off of us. Dana puts us in the direction of a Dr. Ragland, who may be able to help us, and when we get to him and ask for help, we drop some hardcore edge.
You could say I'm symptomatic. So pick a side.
I'll tell you what I know. But first, we need to find where the military has Patient Zero.
Raglan needs us to find Patient Zero of this current outbreak, leading to some absolutely chaotic fights across the infected streets, absolutely flooded with tanks and military personnel. Alex kindly sums up every little arc with a talk from the future. And while I've not been showing these, I'm going to slap this one in, and when we finish the game, remember what was discussed here.
Did it feel to be infected with something you couldn't control?
Like, my own body wanted me dead.
Did you ever consider how the parasite felt? An intelligent cancer ripped from its host?
Yeah, I did. Once. Right before I killed it.
Day 8 of the infection, and nearly half of the population is infected. Hell, the map itself paints that picture. I'm surprised they didn't just launch their own little Manhattan Project 2.0 already. We transport Raglan to the base where Patient Zero's body is being held and have to defend him while he does whatever science work he needs to do. It's a fun little section with a ton of handy weapons around and enough combat moves in our arsenal to take these groups out. Driving Raglan back to his own lab, tentacles are now sprouting out of the sewers to halt our advance specifically. The virus again demonstrating it's being controlled by a higher power rather than your regular common cold. If you're a VTM fan, this is the closest you'll get to seeing Zamisi himself in a game. Now Raglan gives us our vaccine, which we will need to gestate within a hunter before chasing and then consuming it. It's a bit hands-on. The upside to all of this tomfoolery is both a suit of viral armour and this kick-ass arm blade, so the wait to get the toys out was definitely worth it. We have a touching reunion with Dana where she comes to terms with us being this viral monstrosity before being kidnapped by a special hunter. Leading us on a goose chase through the streets. The thing gets away, but Alex knows that Green was responsible for kidnapping Dana. To shorten the series of events here, Alex consumes a leader hunter to get the ability to spot asymptomatic carriers of the virus, and then consume them by the boatload so that we can tap into the hive mind itself and track Green down. She's now fortified a hive of her own, and there's so much genetic material there, we'll need something ridiculously powerful to punch a hole into it. Working with the military in disguise, we escort a thermobaric tank as it smashes through several hives with ease, before driving it ourselves to knock on Green's front door. Asking her where our sister is, she gives us some bad news.
Where is she?
She's with us now.
What the hell are you?
The reason.
For what?
Everything.
We have a minor scuffle before injecting her with Blackwatch's cancer pen, and instead of it making a tumour on her, it creates a unique being, the Supreme Hunter. while unclear as you're playing this thing, it's not working for Green or Blackwatch, rather it's its own independent entity, and an absolute monster to fight and kill. The game doesn't make it clear it's independent until a lot later. And my strategy here was simple: run around and throw debris at it because I'm an absolute coward. I could only see the hunter from Dead Space in this thing, and I didn't want to get close. We eventually finish it off, but there's a bit of a fake out as we leave. Carrying Dana's body, the pile of goo the creature turned into starts to reform behind us. Dana is unresponsive but stable. I have no clue how she's not infected, so that's one piece of good news. On the bad news spectrum, someone's dropped off a map of dead drops to Raglan's lab, and so knows of our involvement with him, so we decide to pay them a visit. Through various missions and unknown contact, and likely the one we've been speaking to in all our flash forwards, drops a load of our truth on us.
What I know you want to hear. 40 years ago, Blackwatch moved into Hope, Idaho, to be in Project Red Light. They'd studied the virus for years on animals, wanted to see what it would do to humans.
Confirming what we know, that Gentek had been testing their virus in Hope, Idaho, to create something special that could rewrite and copy living creatures. We're no longer Alex Mercer, we are a blob of this virus that has taken on its form. He seems to know a lot of the military's plans, our new contact, and gets us to throw a spanner in them, taking out strike teams and revealing the presence of a new weapon they're using called blood tox, a gas which can only hurt infected, not living people, and the army use that to absolutely bait and switch us while we're trying to listen into one of their briefings.
To humans, it is completely harmless. So harmless, in fact, that you've been breathing it since you've entered this room. Hold it! Halt! Halt!
Company here, Manhattan Whiskey 05 is green out.
Oh, that's not good.
They start pulling all the toys out, including super soldiers, and so they're bringing their A game, not even against the virus itself, but against Alex personally. And by day 12 of the outbreak, 80% of the city is infected. We're unintentionally helping it too, fighting the remnants of the military, destroying the blood tox blowers, all to create this perfect storm where we can escort a blood tox pump into flooding the sewers at Times Square, causing some absolute monstrosity of Elizabeth Green, bones and flesh to come spawning out of the ground, in probably what should be the game's final fight. I do not know the intended way of handling it. There's so many hunters around that it's like running through treacle and you'll constantly be knocked around and stun locked. If you want to try and steal a helicopter or a tank, they get shot down nearly instantly. You could attack her head on, but you risk her shooting a variety of awful projectiles at you, or the military clipping you with one of their tactical thermo barracks. Really, this fight is tooth and nail. I just ate a load of zombies and used my ultimate attack over and over. But when Green does come out, instead of giving her a chance to run again, we consume her and absorb all of her memories. All the secrets of Hope, Idaho, the fact she had a child there that is likely somewhere in a deep dark Gentek research bunker, and at the same time, Blackwatch begins pulling out of Manhattan, ready for their nuclear option.
What's the situation?
Colonel Taggart has ordered a general retreat.
I gave no such command! Get me a...
Get on board, sir!
I'm moving Blackwatch command to the Reagan and taking her out to sea. Find Taggart, bring him to me. I can only give you 4 hours. Then, it's out of my hands! Sir!
Knockoff Phoenix is even being overwhelmed by the infected, and what follows next is us using our growing immunity to blood tox to play dead for Blackwatch. They escort us to the director of Gentek as they think we're dead and stupidly don't give an armed guard. Alex faces off against Dr. McMullen, and he provides yet another twist. See, Alex was a whistleblower against Gentek, and one of our contingency plans was to keep a vial of their special virus as a dead man switch. If they killed us, we'd release it. We were the ones who released the virus in Penn Station as we were shot, and rather than let us take his memories, McMullen anti-heroes himself, leaving us no better off than when we started. It turns out our secret contact was indeed Specialist Cross, and the two of us team up. Cross wants help stopping the Lieutenant General Randall from nuking Manhattan, and in exchange, we'll be able to pick his brains for whatever secrets we want about Hope, Idaho. We fight tooth and claw again to get the body of a specific Blackwatch officer right as he's about to escape the quarantine, and go with Specialist Cross aboard their little battleship off the coast to deal with Randall.
We're 6 minutes out.
And only I know the code.
You were at Hope, Idaho. You took something from Elizabeth Green. I know what Blackwatch has done. Because everyone I've killed, they're in me. They are me.
That's how you...
The nuke is primed, 6 minutes on the clock, and we eat his memories. To add another shock twist, that pile of goop that was the Supreme Hunter at some point had killed Specialist Cross, taken his body, and has been pretending to be him probably for the last half of the game, working with us to get to this exact point. He wants the city nuked and to absorb us so that it can run away without being looked for. The final fight is against the Supreme Hunter, whilst the nuke timer counts down.
7 minutes. 7 minutes is all I can spare to play with you. Here I am offering you my precious time, and you waste it by running around.
I managed to kill it with a literal 1 second to spare, less than a second even. Alex flies the nuke out to sea, dropping it and saving Manhattan, nearly dying himself before reforming. Then the epilogue comes with Alex fully detached from who he was, now just the virus incarnate. With that, prototype's over. Shady military experiments, a whistleblower looking for who caused the virus to find out he did it himself, and saving the island from both infection and a nuke. Well, really just a nuke, the infection's still there. That sums it up if you wanted the one sentence version. Prototype has some of the funnest crowd combat, power fantasy jank, and sandbox action. And the story, while not excitingly revolutionary, is still a good watch if you're in the mood for it. Of course, that's not where things end at all though, with a sequel and some tie-in comics to address, and while the comics follow straight on, I will pick them up midway through Prototype 2 as they spoil a couple of reveals here. For now, let's look how the sequel went.
And whoever he was, that's a part of me. Because when I close my eyes, I see the memories of 1,000 dead men screaming as I take their lives.
So, Prototype 2 came out 3 years later and was partially written by Dan Jolly. You can really see his influence on things being a lot more comic book-esque. A lot changes aesthetically, gameplay-wise, and really a lot for the better as its own separate entity. But the biggest point of division will come from the narrative changes. The plot here being a lot more action first than the grittiness of the first game, and a few characters change drastically too, leaving quite a few areas to critique. So let's dig in. Prototype 2 opens up with a dramatic black and white cutscene of our new MC reliving a conversation over the phone with his daughter and wife. This was during the start of the outbreak. Heller is an Iraq war veteran on tour during the events of the outbreak. When he'd come back, his wife and daughter had died to it, and already with a screw loose, well, this pushed him over the edge. The infection's been going rampant since the events of the first game, with NYC being split into red, orange and green zones, and Alex blamed for the outbreak as a whole. Whilst deployed to the red zone on some sort of mission, we see a car take out our own in the most dramatic of fashions. Then we're up with our crew, all dead around us, and Heller, the MC, being in a bad state too. We spot Alex Mercer, the fixation of our desire for revenge, and after calling it in accidentally, Blackwatch want to send reinforcements in.
Ninja 3-3, this is Red Crown. We're sending reinforcements to your location. Do not pursue Mercer. Repeat.
Red Crown, be advised. I'm not in fucking Blackwatch. What the?
We got at Alex with our knife, doing pretty much no damage, though we do give it a good go again before being knocked away. Alex continues to taunt Heller, leading us through the streets and an in-game tutorial. The place looking quite apocalyptic now, with a distinct lack of anyone living, and the buildings either covered in viral material or ruined beyond use. Heller is a bit of an action man if you've not gleaned that already.
You done running?
If the dodging of helicopters weren't enough, running from one of the new locals really adds to the Michael Bay experience. This is a different game. When we do eventually catch up to Alex, it's another black and white cutscene, very reminiscent of something like Sin City, and despite our attempts, we're clearly outmatched. Rather than kill or consume us, Alex infects us with his strain of the virus, And as we phase in and out of consciousness, we can see Heller getting recovered by the military Gen-Tech combo, and they're already slicing him up to experiment on him. Blackwatch have had a bit of a facelift this time around, and things feel a little bit like I asked my mum for Infamous, and she said we already had it at home. This in itself is a compliment. They throw a load of infected at us to see how we'll operate under pressure, and despite Dr. Koenig wanting to test us to get as much info as he can, military man Rooks wants to turn us into a fine charcoal, lest we get out and become a second Alex Mercer.
Get cleanup and recovery in there. Make sure he's dead. Damn you, Colonel, this is no place for your brand of barbarity. Don't get sanctimonious with me, you fucking ghoul. I've read your experiment reports.
Of course, we've inherited Alex's power of consuming people to steal their shape, memories, and life force, with the Doctor getting us to consume all we can to deal with the constant salvos of fire being pumped into the room. We break our way out through the control room and run into a nearby alley with Alex finding us.
Watch, here to save New York. Wake up, Heller. This is no viral outbreak. This is a bioweapons test. Designed by Gen-Tech. Controlled by Blackwatch. And blamed on me. This peon here is going to prove it to you. James Heller, meet Blackwatch Lieutenant Mark Simon. Let it happen. Let it come to you. Let the truth sink in.
He tells us Blackwatch are back to their old tricks again and are pinning everything on Alex. He even gives us a dude's memory to try and reinforce this. It's fairly damning, and so perhaps the enemy of our enemy is our friend. When we're back in gameplay, we're in NYC proper, one of the less infected areas full of refugees. The place being under full martial law, with Blackwatch really swinging their meat around and intimidating the masses. We find a nice corner to change shape in, and then realise we're actually a street away from our own church. Deciding to visit our pastor for some advice on the whole situation, he's surprisingly understanding when we tell him about current events. See, it turns out Blackwatch and Gen-Tech are performing evil experiments on the citizens of NYC, just like Mercer said. Father Guerrera asks us not to cause any trouble.
What did they do?
Rounded up the healthy, put them in camps, gave them the disease, put them in cages with the monsters. Some old friends and I, we tried to get them out, but they caught us and you do not fuck with Blackwatch.
So we instantly do, using Predator radar vision to track down a Blackwatch commander and turn his skin suit into a wetsuit. Memories we eat tell us Colonel Rooks is the head Blackwatch commander in NYC, and after seeing him earlier, he's our latest fixation. We'll get to him a lot later in the game, but for now, almost following Alex's example in the first game, we help out the locals by preventing Blackwatch sicking a load of infected on them. While there are some big fights in this game similar to the first, a lot of combat is more tailored to this sort of story framework. There's more polish on this title, making it a lot more cinematic, and it's really down to taste if you prefer this or not. Just like Alex, we fight a hunter, or in this game a brawler, and consume it to grow claws. Unlike the first game, we do not upgrade these via experience points. They're upgraded by consuming specific VIPs or getting perks by completing certain missions or collectible runs. It's much tighter in scope. The claws themselves let us pounce like a wolverine as we turn the evil goons into gabagool. Then, going back to Father Guerrera, it's discovered he's been an underground resistance fighter, and I imagine his first name is Shay. He'll be our man in the room, our Dana for this game. From there, we engage in a few side missions on Blacknet. In a nutshell, we hunt down someone with that Predator vision, they've got a key memory, and then we go into an actual side quest, replacing again how we got certain upgrades in the first game by eating people in military bases. It's a welcome change. I'm going to skip over these, but there's a ton of them, really half of the game is this, and I'd recommend giving them all a spin. Our next main mission, Brain Drain, tells us that Rooks is holding a private briefing, and we could probably sneak inside if we steal a nice military body. The infamous goons are all present as Rooks tells us Gen-Tech are about to up their experiments and kill a few more innocents. We turn our back for just a second and Rooks is gone before we can grab him. So we take the consolation prize of taking out a few doctors who are infecting civilians with infected serum. We go in loud, pouncing all the scientists underneath the head doctor and eating their memories. They're all comically evil as you can expect.
It's like a dream come true for me.
What the hell are you talking about, Samuelson?
What Gentech's accomplishing. A chance to experiment on live subjects. These refugee camps are like massive petri dishes. It's amazing.
We're after a Dr. Shafeld, and he runs off in a tank. We pop the lid on the thing, and he flies out in comical fashion. We eat him too, with his memories, having a high-ranking member of Gentech, Miss Galloway, showing absolutely zero sympathy for the people of New York. Rooks actually calls Heller thinking we're one of his ground goons, pointing us in the direction of the special lab where they're testing on an old friend of ours. What are those weird viral tentacles from the first game? These are now full-on mini-bosses, and with Heller's eyes going to the nearby rocket launchers, we turn the thing into fried calamari, gaining a new unique power, the Tendril, and this thing is really fun to use. It's an automatic hang-drawn quarterer, leaving all these tendrils behind. It's just a great little visual.
Why am I getting reports that Hydra is dead? We've got a tango. He's tearing the place apart. Well, you can go to your fucking dance class later. That is months of research ruined. Kill him now.
You can even do a pseudo black hole attack with it, and I'm already loving Heller's kit. We continue tearing a path through the orange zone, taking out research sites, eating all manner of beastie to recollect Alex's old powers, and Rook seems to have no clue he's giving us a shopping list of places to hit. Blackwatch eventually attacked the church directly, with us having to defend it against goons, tanks and choppers, even going as far as tearing the weapons off the vehicles to use against them.
Oh shit, the toe. The toe is gone. The hostiles killing us with a...
We get in, and Guerrera relocates to the green zone while we tie up any other loose ends. One of the biggest being Dr. Koenig, who was chopping us apart in the tutorial. After breaking into his office, he starts to grovel. He claims that Gentech is forcing him to work for them, and worst of all, they're developing a program called Orion to develop super soldiers. Though, didn't they already have those in the first game? In fact, where are they? The whole of New York City being blown to bits too is new to the sequel. So really a lot has changed, with a lot of soft retcons here and there. The Orion super soldiers are a bit meatier than those in the first game, keeping their same being able to chase you everywhere and having a bit of dominance in hand to hand. But it seems by taking out Orion's first super soldier here, the project might be stopped in its tracks. Spoilers, it's not. Instantly, we're told there's a second phase soldier at their proving grounds who'd been given the serum and our DNA. Unfortunately, he's nearly a carbon copy of the other soldier, with no special viral attacks or anything. But when we take him out, we unlock a new attack, our ultimate. Consuming the doctor responsible for the project, it seems that Koenig is a bit of a turncoat.
Like a personal milestone. I've been observing Heller, taking the measure of his strength. Now I know exactly how to put him down.
Put him down? Dr. Koenig, what are you planning?
Oh, it's nothing to fret over.
It's
none of your concern, Commander. Don't try to think above your pay grade.
We smash through a ton of military assets before he tries to kill us in a... Wait, wrong game. The chopper goes down, and as we're about to consume Koenig himself for being a traitor, the game throws its biggest and, first twist at us. Alex Mercer has been giving other people the virus and planting his own sleeper cells within Gentech and Blackwatch. They evolved as this new enemy type. An actual pain to fight, but in a fun way. They fight aggressively fast, and you can either learn to dodge and parry them, or you learn to reload checkpoints. This is a very fun twist, and a nice way to spice up some of the military encounters, where the odd person goes rogue and grows blade arms. He even drops some heat as we consume him.
You want me to beg, Heller? Is that what you want? I want you to shut up and die.
Alex is actually a mustache-twirling villain, and he makes an appearance again. The Evolved are deeply embedded within Gentech and Blackwatch, Gentech's new CFO being an Evolved herself. Mercer wants to lead a strike on Blackwatch and Gentech, but I'm really starting not to trust this guy.
And when there's enough of us, you and I will lead an attack that will wipe Blackwatch and Gentech off the face of the earth.
And the virus.
What?
The virus goes too, right?
All of it. It's in the plan.
He's in fact not the same Alex we left in the first game. The comics that link both games demonstrate he had several betrayals by humanity, and he lost his faith in it. A complete and utter 180 for our edgy little anti-hero, which, if you check online, wasn't received very well. A lot happens in the transition to the Green Zone. All of their bridges are out. Nukes kind of do that to a place, but we might be able to cross using the air bridge, provided we can steal a fresh outfit. That's not actually the hard bit. The Green Zone is meant to be super safe, where all the officers and bigwigs live, though the neighbourhood's gone downhill somewhat. Father Guerrera's managed to upgrade his goon cave to a new apartment building, and he shows us some figures. The first outbreak, the one from Prototype 1, started in Penn Station, we know this. The second, however, interestingly, it started from the exact same spot. If we check the camera footage, it was the exact same guy kicking it off too. We should have learned to trust our gut on this. Neither Guerrera or his online contact Athena have any leads for getting to Mercer, but we know that Blackwatch's CFO is one of the Evolved, and there's about to be a briefing about her security detail. That briefing is unfortunately postponed due to all the infected kicking in the doors. There's a few of these fun pretend to be military man missions where we sort someone else's mess to get what we need. It's fun to hear some of the less malicious Blackwatch men chatting with us, really a nice touch. We mow down a number of infected, including their big boys and a Hydra, and really this place seems in a worse state than the Amber Zone, with all the infected breaking in. The briefing though, it's one of those work from home online meets. Us and Guerrera have already been made that we're operating out of the Green Zone, and Blackwatch wants both dead. They know that our next target will be Sabrina, but we also know the exact unit that will be guarding her. Unfortunately, and I apologise for the narrative whiplash, but before we go anywhere nearer, Guerrera tells us Blackwatch are making a cure for the Mercer virus, the White Light. Commander Gallagher is planning to release the stuff out, and so we decide to hunt him down and just double check it's all kosher. To our huge surprise, he's one of Mercer's Evolved, and this leads us for a street chase where we try and consume him, the military themselves chasing us both down. Fighting him from another Hind D and a bit of ground combat, we hear Gallagher talking to a scientist. The White Light can be programmed with special side effects. There's no more detail than that, but I imagine they put something nasty in there.
So you're saying we can give it what? New side effects?
Sure, yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
We find out a bit more that Koenig's direct replacement was working on White Light too, but she's gone into hiding. And Riley, Rooks' number 2 man, has come out to stop us. So double bubble as the Welsh say. Steal his identity and get a direct line to Rook.
Castle. Sorry, got a little crazy for a minute there.
No shit. Get your ass to a secure location and call me back. Dr. Archer is missing.
Roger that.
We eat a few more scientists and discover that the White Light has been programmed to give Mercer control over anything infected with it. They've poisoned the cure with more disease. Archer, Koenig's direct replacement, is involved, and Rook gives us her location. I'm going to skip the fighty and tell you that Alex has put his own DNA in the cure, likely evolving anyone that touches it and making a huge mess of things. Most of the Evolved we'd seen in key positions have been developing their own powers, Archer being able to summon in groups of brawlers for instance. We've also been slowly absorbing these powers into our own locker and evolving into a stronger strain ourselves. Perhaps Alex is trying to get as many of these new powers going as possible so that he can do the same by consuming them. Either way, we should probably deal with that CFO. Walking straight into her office, immediately she tries to bargain with us, claiming that she's more interested in survival than doing what Mercer wants. That we should work together. Through several missions, she helps us get close to a specific Evolved, Roland, who turns out to be Mercer's right-hand man. The best of these missions is actually the first, where we join a Blackwatch extraction squad and have to blend in. The best part for me was the dialogue between the squad, it just tickled me.
Yeah, I love rescuing scientists. Hoorah! Shut the fuck up, Starnes. I hear a couple of these VIPs are high ups at Gentech. You know, some infected chicks are still pretty hot if you pop a bag over their heads.
Stars, for the life of me, I don't know how you passed the psych profile.
Eventually, eating Roland like a hard candy gives us a memory of his conversation with Mercer.
So the whole of the White Light stores are currently leaving the Green Zone.
Yes, the operation can begin at your command.
Eek. So their fake cure virus is about to be shipped out. We take all this information back with us, and rather than just burn all the stuff away, Guerrera's convinced we need a canister to see what it does. What a stupid idea. We rush ahead with our limited test, and it goes about as well as expected.
Yes, sir.
James, what did it do? Sorry, Father. Can't talk now.
All the nearby soldiers turn into evolved, but at least Blackwatch are aware that White Light does this now. Fighting 3 at once isn't as bad as you'd think, and doing such, we rush to the nearest White Light depot for a chat with Mercer.
Such a waste.
Goodbye, Heller.
You can't kill me. You can't.
Kill me?
The funny thing here is, he tries to absorb us, and for whatever reason we turn the table on him, absorbing the appendage he stuck us with. Alex, instead of just fighting us, runs off into the wilderness, claiming he's going to make us suffer. And as soon as we hit the street, the big beastie from the tutorial's here. The fight against the Goliath is a spectacle. It's trying to charge the depot so that it can release all the white light into the local area, and we're having to take it down limb by limb as it's so huge. Its moveset changes as well as you take out each limb until it becomes this flailing mass. All in the background, we've got soldiers screaming about the size of this thing and the fact that Heller seems to be attacking it of all people. And they don't even try to attack us, rather providing firing support. I really enjoyed these sections where the threat was so large the baddies sided with us. Of course, the moment it's dead, they turn their guns on us, so we bolt. Guerrera calls saying the infected are attacking his apartment, and it's clear by what Mercer said, he's going to make us suffer. It's a tense rush over to Guerrera's apartment, and worse still, Blackwatch had spotted Mercer leaving the building. When we get there, it's way too late, with blood everywhere, and the fallen corpse of our greatest ally. Mercer has now literally taken everything from us. But in another shock twist, his contact Athena calls, and it turns out to be Alex's sister Dana, apparently with information on our daughter. The only problem is, she's in the red zone, so we've got another transition. So, I'm going to do the red zone super quick here. We entered the red zone under the guise of a helicopter pilot in a squad specifically put together to find Dana. The red zone, as you can imagine, is an absolute shambles. There's really nothing here that could be reclaimed from the virals, and the place is entirely saturated with them. This makes it difficult, as you can imagine, to protect the military's telemetry truck tracking Dana down. But Heller is a veteran, with the memories of several pilots absorbed into his brain box. We manipulate the mission into succeeding far enough where we can get her location, and then warn her Blackwatch is coming, so she sets up a meet in a more secure location. It turns out our daughter is still alive, but being held by Blackwatch at a secure site. We're ready to tear the city apart to find her, but Dana needs us to stop Alex from destroying the city first, or it just won't matter at all if we get her. Blackwatch have figured out that white light has been poisoned and are stockpiling the stuff, ideally to destroy it. The only problem is, they need machines to transport the barrels. I don't know why their super soldiers can't do it. Whereas, we can just throw the barrels in with our bare hands. We fight against the virus itself. Hunters and Evolved try to secure the last of the barrels, and it's quite a mad dash trying to get them from them. Sabrina interrupts our call with Dana after we've disposed of all of these, asking to meet about Project Firehawk. Which, with a name like that, we can have a little quiz. Do you think it's A holistic extraction program for the people of NYC, or B, the option to glass the city with a big nuke? You guessed it, so now Heller is playing a balancing game between two forces trying to wipe out the city in their own ways. Our lead to find our daughter is a government man who had delivered Maya to a special government lab within the red zone. He stays alive for a total of 2 missions, so we're going to skip over him. We plan on consuming Colonel Rooks to find out the location of this lab, but just as we're about to kill and consume him, he's on the phone to his wife, and rather than kill another father and perpetuate that cycle of violence, we just use a disguise to get him to tell us the information in a more friendly way.
How'd it go last night? Oh, that's great. And how's my little girl? I don't know. There's a lot of variables. Another 6 months, maybe. I know. I love you too.
Jesus Christ, Riley!
After a few jumps and hurdles, Alex actually gets to our daughter first, and a memory of one of his colleagues says he's interested in Hella's genetic makeup, but he also wants to torture us by using her. There's a rooftop standoff with Rooks, during which him and Hella kinda see eye to eye.
Rooks, all I care about is getting Maya back. Just stay out of my way, please.
I have no clue why they try to humanize the militants who've been literally experimenting on people, but hey, you do you. We attack the base with Maya in it, get saved by Rooks, betrayed by Sabrina, who saw that coming, and then face off against Alex and all of his evolved on the roof of one of the high rises.
Scary. You just don't get it, do you? I gave you everything, and this is how you come to me. Can't you understand what I'm doing? Humanity is stagnant, dying. I would give it one body, one mind. Think about it. No more conflict, no more disease, no more suffering. Don't you see? I'm giving it a second chance.
Enough of your fucking weird, fucking rambling shit! Give me my daughter!
Alex wants to infect the whole of humanity and gives his insane villain speech. God, they killed my boy. He absorbs all the evolved on the rooftop, becoming immensely more powerful, and then the final fight begins. Alex versus Hella, and Alex being so experienced with the same viral weapons we're using, we have to actually alternate through all of them to make sure he can't counterattack. This guy goes through 3 health bars before eventually Hella gets his mitts on him, consuming him and all the memories he had inside.
Welcome to the top of the food chain.
The story is wrapped in an enormous Deus Ex Machina bow. A tendril ultimate attack is now so supercharged to the point we can whap all the infected city-wide with it and get rid of them all in one clean sweep. I'll keep that in. We catch Dana and Maya at whatever vault they were both stored in, and while Maya is initially afraid of her mutant father, the two eventually hug, giving a tiny bit of a light end to this. The only infected left is Hella himself, and he's probably godlike at this point. So let's just conclude.
What do we do now?
Prototype is one of those strange series that almost feels like it shouldn't have worked as well as it did. On paper it's a janky mess, chaotic, full of edge, and really over the top. But somehow all of that jank comes together in one of the most satisfying power fantasies of its era. The first game especially leans into that feeling of being completely unchained. Alex Mercer isn't really a hero, he's barely even a person by the end of it. He's a weapon trying to figure out who made him, and Manhattan is just a war zone for him to do that in. The story isn't exactly high art, but it has a certain charm that fits perfectly within the mid-2000s obsession of shady military, secret bioweapons, and morally questionable science. I liked it. It's really enjoyable. It's also really memorable. Prototype 2, meanwhile, takes things in a very different direction. It's slicker, more cinematic, and far more focused on the spectacle. Hella is a much louder protagonist than Mercer ever was. This video doesn't show it well, but he is constantly throwing quips out every single scene. And the gameplay is refined into something smoother and easier to control. But that shift comes with trade-offs, so the sequel gains polish but loses some of that strange, weird identity that made the original feel so unique. This one comes off as more made for mainstream than something experimental. They do improve a lot on the faults of the last game, adding in a ton of variety with the side content and expanding out missions past single objective encounters. You lose the hives and those sort of things, but gain a different type of objective instead. I preferred the structure of Prototype 2. There is, however, the elephant in the room, Alex Mercer himself. Turning the protagonist of any game into the villain of the second is a bold move. One that didn't exactly land for a lot of players. For some people it felt like a betrayal of the original character, for others it was a logical conclusion. You know, he was becoming a monster by the end of the first game. But if you really fell in love with Alex as a player, it's going to be a hard pill to swallow when he shifts so drastically. He even acts a bit more dumb, I think. Looking back now, Prototype sits in a really interesting place in gaming history. It came out during the golden age of open world sandbox games. Saints Row made about 90 of them, but you had Crackdown, Infamous, all these similar games. People were just throwing wild ideas at the walls to see what stuck. And Prototype's idea was simple: instead of stopping the monster, make the player into one. Even now, there still aren't many games that let you tear through a city with this level of destructive freedom. Running up skyscrapers, body surfing across tanks, throwing helicopters out of the sky. It's pure, unapologetic power fantasy. The game is the equivalent to a 90s action film, and that's probably why people still remember it. Not because it was perfect, for some it's pretty damn close, but because for a few hours Prototype let you become the scariest thing in Manhattan, and take that in whichever direction you wanted. It's a top series for me. Over and out, Smooth Brains.
If we make it out of here, you think you're ready?
I was made for this.